My name is Adam Cooper. People call me Foreigner. That is my artist name. That is my stage name. But I'm coming to y'all from the heart, honest, to really explain to y'all what it is that went down with Jouvert this year. Jouvert is something that I started in 2018. I started it out of, a creative frustration. At the time, I was doing another event with some folks. And that had gone left, and I had started doing my own events. And after one of my first events, I was cleaning up, and there was some stuff that we needed to load in to there was some stuff in the venue that I needed to load out and put in another place. So I asked the venue owner, "Yo, where can I put this stuff?" And he was like, "Oh, we have a yard down the street." I was like, "Oh, you have a yard down the street? Let me see this yard." At this point, it's like 6 a.m, And we walk over to this yard, and he opened the gate, and it was a junkyard. And my dream for LA had always been, let me do a Jouvert. And it just came to me right then and there, Junkyard Jouvert. And that was March 2018, June 2018, I did it. I didn't know who was going to come to this thing. But about 200 people came, 200 real soca-loving people pulled up to this thing in June 2018, and it was a mad scene. And ever since then, 8 years later, it's just grown and grown and grown and grown. And the way I did it in 2018 was very community-driven, right? The people that worked the event were friends, right? Friends that needed work. The other day, I went to this Thai restaurant, and this girl, she's a huge artist now. She's a sculptor, performance artist, painter. Like, one of her art pieces goes for $100K, And when I first started Junkyard Jouvert, she worked the door. She was broke, and she was just like, I need work, Adam. I need work, Foreigner. What can you do? I was like, can you help us work the door? And she came. She worked the door. She did 2 Jouverts that year. And that's just the general approach that I take with Jouvert. I try to do it with people that are a part of the community. I try to do it with Black people. I try to do it with people from LA. I try to do it with people from the culture, so that the essence of Jouvert always remains rooted in not only friendship and love, but in the origins of this thing, which is about community, it's about village, it's about helping one another. It's about the spirit of carnival being one that is about giving, right? Carnival is not all about consumption, it's also about giving. And that is something that I've really tried to preserve over the years, right? Even though we've grown from 200 to 3,000 people, I really want to make sure that the people that work in the event are our people. That's why when you look behind the bar, it's Black people behind the bar, right? When you look at security, it's Black people, right? When you look at the door folks, it's Black people. When you look at all the DJs, it's people that I know, it's friends, right? It's fam. Old fam, new fam, whatever, right? But it's gotten to a point now where working with friends is hurting the event. I think that that essence, right, that I try to bring in terms of you are my people, you're my boy, you're my girl, like we in this together, right? Just leads to people not necessarily taking things that serious. Now, when it comes to DJing, right, working with your friends is a lot different than working with your friends to run the bar, right, or working with your friends to run production. DJs, they have fun, right? They have fun doing their job, right? With the other elements, working with my friends has really led to a lack of just seriousness around what it is we're doing, because I am someone that doesn't necessarily, I don't come off, and I try not to present myself as someone that is imposing. I don't want nobody to feel like I'm their boss or I'm buffing them or telling them what to do, you know? So at this rate, I'm at a point now where I really have to look to professionals, right? To work this event, to do this thing in a way that really does give y'all the experience y'all deserve. It's because it's really time for me to bring a different level of expertise and a different group of people that don't even know me, right? That know that I'm the motherfucker that's gonna pay them, right? And there's a seriousness there that they know that if they don't do this shit, they're not gonna get paid, right? So that's number one. That's the overarching premise of what is gonna change this year. There's going to be a different approach to staffing this event in a way that doesn't hurt the friendships that I have because, people aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, and, in this last Jouvert, everybody dropped the ball. Everybody. Every single person involved in this thing dropped the ball. And I paid everybody. I still paid everybody. Every single person that worked Jouvert, even though they didn't do what they were supposed to do, got their money. Because to me, that friendship and that love is worth more than money. You understand what I'm saying? And it hurts me because, yeah, sure, y'all my people, and I don't want to see nobody taking a loss, But there's a certain damage to those friendships that is irreparable, and I don't want that to happen to anybody else that I consider a friend. So that's point number one. Point number two, this door situation, right? I acknowledge that Junkyard Jouvert really grew to a point that it had to be legit, fully legit, right? The underground vibes was cool for like a 200 people. It was cool for like a 500 people, maybe even 1,000 people, But once we started crossing 3,000 people, I knew after September last year that I had to legitimize this event. So we brought on a consultant, right, to do our permitting. We're not gonna name no names. Name is for gravestone, right? And this person was incredibly professional. This guy was handling business. This guy was, telling us, okay, get this form, pay this, do that. And one thing about me, when it comes to things like that, it's going to get done. What have to get paid is going to get paid. What has to get filled out is going to get filled out. We did all of these things, showed, got the floor plan, sent the floor plan to him. And then on the day of the event, the fire department shows up and they say, hey, look, we've never seen any of this floor plan, right? What floor plan? What is this stage? What is this thing? What is that thing? The consultant basically ignored the most important part of the permitting process, which was to get all of our structures approved, right? So there I was. I don't know if y'all saw me walking around with the fire department, but me walking around with the fire department was essentially me trying to convince them not to shut the party down, right? It was me saying, hey, look, the same way I'm being honest with y'all here is how I was with the fire department. I was like, look, we have done this event underground for the entire time we've been around, right? Mr. Man here, Mr. Consultant, he was responsible for this. He fucked up, whatever. God bless him. You understand? What can we do to get this event rocking? right? At this point, it's 4 p.m., right? At this point, it's 4 p.m., and y'all are outside, right? So the fire department, it was a lady. I was trying to charm her and, make her feel nice. She said she had dinner plans. I'm like, I don't want to mess up your date and whatnot. She giggling, kiki, I'm getting through. She feeling nice. I'm making she feel nice. So that's when she said, look, I haven't seen your floor plan yet, but let's take a look at the structures here. Let's take a look at the structures. I want to work with you. You seem like an honest guy. I want to work with you. So now we go and we look at the structures. We're looking at the structures. Da. The fire department lady says, look, this thing you have up here is unsafe. Nobody could go up here. So I'm like, no, this is safe. We've been using this structure for the last year and a half. She's like, this is unsafe. It's not even up to manufacturer's code. Let's not to mention the city code, manufacturer's code. These structures are not up to manufacturer's code. So I called the stage people, right, to come over and talk to the fire department to explain to them, like, hey, look, this thing's safe. The stage people were like, yo, you're right. This isn't safe. So these stage people that I've been hiring have been cutting corners, giving me a structure that's unsafe because they realize that, hey, look, it's some black shit, whatever, they don't care. So the fire department was then like, look, the only way you can open doors right now is if you take down all these structures. At this point, it's 4:30 and y'all outside. You understand? At this point, it's 4:30 and y'all are outside. And the fire department telling me, you have to take down the stage. It took those dudes 6 hours to put those stages up. So then I'm like, yo, can we just open the inside for now and let people in, right? Because y'all saw we had the outside and we had the inside, right? So I asked the fire people, can we just open the inside for now, let people in there, because they've been outside for, they're going to be outside for a while if we have to take down these stages. And then once the stages come down, we can let them back outside. Fire department was like, no. Nobody comes in here until these stages come down. The whole time, the consultant man there eating ceviche, looking at me like, I'm like, yo, you're useless, dog. But in his defense, he did a lot of work, you know what I mean? But in that 20% of work he didn't do led to us having to take down our stages. So that's when we started pushing to get these stages taken down. And while we're getting the stages taken down, y'all are outside waiting, right? So the stages finally come down. At that point, we had to rebuild the sound system outside. But since the stages were down already outside and we had a system inside, that's when we started letting y'all in. So I don't know if y'all remember, you came in, we were vibing inside, and then at a certain point, we turned on the music outside and the vibe began, right? That's because we needed to rebuild the whole sound system now that we took the stages down. So that's the first part of why the line was so long and the doors took so long to open, right? Now the third part, right? Now that the doors were open, why was security acting that way, right? Security, the organization that I use for security is it's kind of like a family situation, you know? It's like, again, this Jouvert thing is about spreading money, right? It's about giving, right? It's a community thing, right? So I want to make sure that the people that are working this thing know the vibe, know the energy and the culture, and are part of a family, if you will. And as much as I love these individuals, they just abandoned our door plan. We had a whole plan with multiple lanes, with our wristbands, who come to collect T-shirts, who don't have a wristband. etc., 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 right? But for some reason, the head of security was like, we're not doing that. And as I was asking her and begging her, like, yo, this is chaos. We need to get a hold of this. They were not trying to hear none of that. So in addition to the door not opening for a few hours, because the fire department was gracious enough to let us open the doors once we took down the stages, because they were going to they were not going to let us have this party, y'all. They were not going to let us have that party. They were nice by letting us take down the stage and let us open the doors after the stage came down, right? In addition to that, our security, like, God, I love them, yo. They're amazing people, but they're not coming back, you know? They just really just ignored, because they know me. That's the thing, right? A lot of people that work with me for Jouvert are people that know me. And one thing I'm never going to do, I'm never going to be a dickhead to nobody. Ever. Ever. I'm not going to yell at nobody. I'm not going to withhold their bread. I'm not going to be disrespectful. There's a spirit that happens at Jouvert, that whatever energy you give out there, there's a consequence. So even though I might be stressed, even when I'm playing Jouvert in Trinidad, even though I might be stressed, I'm not going to give in to nobody else's energy, because I keep my shit pure. So that security situation led to an extended delay for y'all getting in. I came out there, I started scanning some tickets. And between all the people that left, because I know, man, people were like, fuck this, I ain't doing this, you know? And the people that waited, we were able to clear the line, and everybody was inside. And from then on out, Junkyard Jouvert for Juneteenth weekend was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful experience. Those of you that came and got in, y'all saw what the vibes were. It was incredible in there. The ladies, y'all were such an incredible vibe in there. It was beautiful once we got everybody in there. And what I realized is that y'all love this thing. Y'all love the culture. Y'all waited, you know, y'all waited out there, and y'all endured, and y'all came in with good energy, good vibes, ready to dance, ready to throw paint, ready to dance in the water. And I can't thank y'all enough for waiting, you know. I can't thank y'all enough for just holding it down and just giving us a chance, you know. And that being said, in September, we come in different, right? Everyone involved, everyone on the staff we're gonna switch it up. We really switch it up, the staffing, and you know, working with people who just take the role a little bit more seriously. Don't necessarily look at me as like, oh, that's Adam, I'll be late. Oh, that's Adam, I ain't coming. It's going to be just a different approach, you know, to the staffing. So that's number one. Number two, we are working with a venue that's gonna keep their contract, right? Gonna follow the contract. The venue that we used, they got money hungry and decided to give us access to the venue 2 hours later than they were supposed to give us access to the venue, you know? So we were working with a different venue that we have more access to, so that we could build out everything a lot more quickly, and any issues that we run into, we can address them a lot more smoothly. When it comes to the door, those of you that came to the redo last September, we did something where we had the ticket scan separate from, if you can see my hand, we had the ticket scan separate from the security entrance, right? We're going to revisit that. That worked really, really well for us last October. And we're going to bring that back. That's going to be a key adjustment. Lastly, I'm seriously considering moving it back to the nighttime for this one, you know? Seriously considering moving it to the nighttime, back to the nighttime, where I think we have more time to set up, and we could just really be in the real essence of Junkyard Jouvert. So I'll let y'all know if we do that. And yeah, y'all, that's kind of where we're landing right now in terms of adjusting things. Junkyard Jouvert has been a community initiative for a long time now. I'm gonna try my best to continue bringing, people who, who are part of the culture, but also will take it a little seriously. And then I just really need to recalibrate the door and doing it the way that I did it in September, where there was separate ticket scan and entrance, separate. One here, one there, ting, right? So that's where we at right now. I love doing this Jouvert shit. It's not easy. I've grown a lot of endurance where the worst of the worst could happen, and I keep a level head. So I just appreciate y'all keeping a level head as well. As far as the theme, y'all want me to tell y'all what the theme is? If y'all want me to tell y'all what the theme is, I need y'all to drop Jouvert Forever in the comments right now. I'm going to drink a little coffee and see how many people want to see what the theme is. All right. I'm not going to give y'all the whole theme, but I'm going to tell y'all right now, underwater. That's all I'm going to say, all right? Underwater. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to reveal all this shit. down the line, all right? But what I'm going to say is underwater, all right? As you already know, we will give y'all all the things that you could get online on the Amazon store. Get your goggles, get your things. You understand? So we going underwater. All right, family? So with that, I'm going to look at these questions and see what we're talking about. All right. Stoner Charm, you got a lot of questions in here. All right, I'm going to start with your questions, all right? Why not give us an update while we were waiting? Would have been helpful. I came out there and gave an update. But as you can imagine, Stoner Charm, I was trying to get this venue ready to rock, all right? I was trying to get this venue ready to rock and open. So after I gave that one update, I really just locked in and just tried to get that whole vibe ready for y'all, all right? How was there people inside when so many of us outside were waiting, right? Stoner Charm, great question. There was a group of people who were friends and family, and I just needed to get them inside ASAP, If I had seen you out there, I would have grabbed you too. But I just needed to get people inside ASAP, and we went ahead and grabbed the folks that we could trust and being there away from the forklifts, away from the things that we were using to move and get the stage down. If we had let everyone in too early, the fire department would have been like, fuck you, you done, right? Let's see what other questions we got. Somebody is asking, what's the theme? What's the theme? What is the theme? The theme, again, I can't give y'all the whole theme, right? But one word that I could give you is underwater. 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 You understand? So think about the things that you would need to be submersed in water. And that is the theme. More details to come. Can you bring back the tactical gear? Yo, we can't do the themes twice. You understand? When we did the tactical gear, everybody else started doing that. I went to a Jouvert in New York a month later. Right? I went to Jouvert in New York a month later, and motherfuckers was doing that. You know? People were sending me mad videos and mad flyers of everybody taking the tactical gear idea. Look, Jouvert in LA, we setting trends worldwide. You understand? So we're not bringing back nothing. We're doing something new. All right? We changed it from late night. The question is, why did you guys change it from late at night to during the day? Late at night brings out the wrong people. You understand? Late at night brings out the wrong people. And we don't want the wrong people in Jouvert. You dig? If I told you the stories that I've had to, of the things that I've experienced at the door with the kind of people trying to come inside there, you would be like, all right, I understand. But I am thinking about making this next one nighttime, right? It's no guarantee that I will make it nighttime. But it's something that I'm considering. And since there's family inside of here, yeah, that's something that I'm seriously considering. All right? Let's see what else I got for y'all. Yes. The answer to this question is yes. So the question here is, so you teamed up with the city for the June Jouvert. That is correct. We worked with the fire department hand in hand to produce this Junkyard Jouvert in June. All right? And the person that was the liaison between us and the city, they were the ones that really dropped the ball and led to us having to take down all the stages before we could open doors in June. And then, of course, as I explained to you, the stage company were giving us structures that are unsafe. And the crazy thing is that both of these entities are asking for full payment. As a matter of fact, the stage company is taking legal action right, as we speak. Because I'm telling them that, like, hey, look, I'll pay you for the labor, but I can't pay you for... I can't give you that full price. Y'all are wildin'. Y'all gave me structures that were unsafe. Not just unsafe from a city code point of view, but from a manufacturer's standards point of view. So, yes, working with the city delayed things, but it also revealed to me a lot of details that I should have known ahead of time, you know? Yeah, it'd be like that. You know, that's how life is for me. You understand? I always get the truth. The truth always presents itself to me every time. And for that, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful for that. Next question. Will it be the same venue that Water Hose was? Look, yo. You remember that place that we had in 2023? under the freeway, I think we might be going back there. We're not going to be under the freeway, but we might be going back over there. So, short answer, we're not going back to the same venue, but we go into an iconic place. Will there be a gal zone? I'm gonna try my best to have a gal zone again. I'm gonna try my best to do a gal zone again. The staging company that we use, the one that's giving me a hard time, I give them credit. They really did enable us to have a really cool situation, But I need to find a new vendor that could do some of those things for us, The gal zone might take a different vibe, might show up in a different way this time, but I'm going to figure out something cool for the gal zone situation, all right? Will there be multiple bars? I am really going to push for there to be multiple bars this time. I just really, really need to kind of broaden my horizon in terms of staffing, to bring in people that, will take a different approach to, and be open to different approaches to the bar. You know what I mean? Why is it only till 10 p.m. now? And will you have an after party for real this time? It's until 10 p.m. because it's just a little bit less hot, it's a little smarter to do it at that time. But like I said before, I may be moving into the nighttime. So y'all pay attention, all right? Will we have an after party for real this time? Time will tell. Time will tell. On top of the water or below the water? She needs to know. Underwater, all right? That is the theme, all right? That's the only theme. That's the only detail I could give you right now. Underwater. Right? Think of get your goggles, get your snorkel. Because without that, you're not going to be able to breathe inside a fucking junkyard Jouvert in September. You understand? So, more details to come. Will there be more security guards? Yes. And there will be a different security company this time around. Can it be more people scanning tickets? This is a question that goes hand in hand with my last this question goes hand in hand with the last question. The security company that we use are people that are very comfortable with me. And when I gave them a plan for the door and the ticket scanners, they said, fuck that. We're not doing that. We're doing what we want. And that's what led to the chaos at the door. What I need is a security company that's going to follow directions and really honor the plan that we have for Junkyard Jouvert, right? So, we will have more people scanning tickets. We will have a fundamentally different ticket scanning situation that will look very similar to what we had for the redo in September. All right? Yes, I. Can we bring water guns? I'm really thinking about what that opportunity is in terms of water guns. I do like the idea of people bringing things that they could use to toss the paint. I talked to the paint production manager, and it's something that we really want to explore, whether we let people bring their own buckets to throw paint, or they bring their own water guns, shit like that. So I'm thinking about it. I just think that it becomes a security issue a little bit, where it could get a little tricky. You know, last year when we did the redo and we allowed people to bring water guns, it was a smaller crowd. So it was a lot more manageable, you know. For the one that we do in September this year, it could just get a little weird. And then, like, you know, somebody might use a water gun as a weapon, like smack somebody with the water gun. And then it's like, it's just not necessarily the best thing. I think what I would love to do is supply y'all with things that y'all could use to throw water and throw paint and stuff like that. So I'll keep you posted on that. I appreciate the question, Boulevard Brando. We are asking about an open bar. Can we make that happen if we buy a ticket at a higher price point? Yeah, I don't know. You know, I don't like the segregation vibes that come with that, you know? Like, for those of us in here that have been to fetes in Trinidad, where you have one party and there's a big stink fence in between the whole party, and then this side is VIP and they can get their drinks, and then this side is general admission, and you know, it just kind of makes it feel real like Jim Crow to me. I don't like that vibe. Like, if we do free drinks, it has to be free drinks for everybody. That's what I would want to do, right? And in order to make it free drinks for everyone, I think the ticket might just be just OD. Like, the ticket price would be just crazy. And right now, people don't have no money like that, you know? So I've definitely thought about it, and it's something that we actively exploring. So I hear you, and I'll look into it, you know. But like, y'all need to chill. Y'all drink too much. Y'all open bar. How much drinking you want to drink, huh? Y'all got. I know you Bayesian, and y'all Bayesians like to drink. But, you know, come on, y'all. I appreciate all of y'all tuning into this thing, listening to all of the details of what happened. Yeah, it was really rough, you know. It was really rough, but I will say that there's no bad blood between, you know, the people who were involved. Even the companies that are taking legal action right now for trying to get their money for doing poor work. Like, it's still love between us. You know what I mean? And that to me is the essence of this thing. It can't be no bad blood with this. It can't be no bad blood with this. And it was very important to me to not have bad blood with nobody, because once you have the bad blood in this, it amplifies, you know? Okay, can you have designated paint pickup? It was hard to find where to get it in June. That is a great question. As I explained to you, when the fire marshal came and said that when the fire marshal came and said that these structures had to be taken down, those structures, we had 4 of them, right? Those structures were paint towers where we were going to be spraying all y'all dumbasses down with paint, right? Nobody was going to get free from the paint. Everybody was going to get wet down, right? So we had these paint towers, and from those paint towers, we were going to be distributing the paint, right? This is what it looks like when we distribute paint, right? But when the fire marshal said, take them shits down, those paint distribution areas were then deleted, were then erased. So in September, we're going to explore new ways to distribute the paint, but we also want to give people a chance to have big bins of paint that they can kind of like dip and throw stuff out and do their things. So we hear you loud and clear, and we will definitely explore that. How can we volunteer or work for Jouvert? There will be a call for volunteers going out really, really, really soon. So keep an eye out for that. What we definitely need help with is mixing and bottling paint, and then, paint distribution and spraying and venue setup on the day of. So look out for that call for volunteers. And we'll go from there. So we are coming up on the end of this thing. I see it's still family on the inside here, tuned in. Again, like I said, I really, really appreciate y'all tuning in. I really, really appreciate y'all listening to what happened, all the details that happened. I don't want it to just go unspoken or unaddressed. It's important to me for y'all to understand what the spirit of this thing is. It's about friendship. It's about love. It's about freedom. It's about celebrating each other's freedom, not just the individual freedom, but the freedom of the collective. And we at a turning point right now where that community element that you've experienced for the last 8 years, where you see, the community behind the bar, you see the community working the event, you see the community at the door, it's going to change. So we are just expanding the staff and the talent pool to, allow this thing to be staffed in a way so that you could get the experience that you deserve. All right. So with that, I am going to cut this thing off. I'm seeing some more questions coming in. I'll go ahead and post this so that we can, have a reference for all of these things that were discussed today. All right. Imperfect perfection. We're going to get you all those details. Don't worry. Yeah, I mean, you're going to be hyper prepared. All right. I will talk to y'all soon. Again, follow me. I go by Foreigner. My name is Adam, right? We family out here. Follow me. Just hit me with any questions, any comments. You could comment here, or you could DM Junkyard Jouvert, or you could DM me directly at Foreigner with 5 R's at the end, and we will go from there. All right. God bless, and we're gonna link up. All right. Yes, I. Peace.